Welcome to Julia's story time. This time, the liars didn't just fool people, they fooled power. In part 1, we met con artists who tricked hearts, banks, and history books. Now let's meet the ones who hacked governments, faked revolutions, and turned Zoom calls into million-euro heists. It only gets smarter and scarier from here. Today's first con artist didn't run a scam. He ran a full-blown career simulator. In the 1960s, Frank Abagnale Jr. started scamming at 16. By 21, he'd already sampled half of LinkedIn. Pilot, doctor, lawyer, college professor. The only job he didn't play was Frank Abagnale Jr. This guy didn't make a PowerPoint. He projected a whole persona. How did he do it? Easy. He figured out that society believes whoever wears the right costume. He noticed pilots had it all. Status, free flights, hotel perks, and that "I know what I'm doing" aura. So he printed fake credentials, stitched a uniform, and boom. He was flying across the country, cashing bad checks, eating like a CEO, and staying in hotels he had no intention of paying for. Worried about flying a plane, he said, "I just read the cockpit manual." See, men do read instructions, occasionally. Then he became a hospital night shift supervisor. Surgery? Oh no, too messy. He just picked the job that involved signing things and sounding confident. The hospital staff trusted him completely. Next, he faked a law degree, audited some classes, copied someone's paper, and somehow ended up working in a prosecutor's office. A judge even said, "This kid has real promise." Of course he does. He's proving that the justice system is just theatre with paperwork. He wasn't a con man. He was a walking vulnerability scanner for society. And the best part, after he got arrested, the FBI hired him. "Yeah, you fooled us so well. Here's a job." This man never applied for anything. He just put on the right clothes, nailed the tone, and walked straight through every locked door in the system. You ask what he actually got away with? Sure, $2 million. But more than that. He scammed our blind faith in credentials. We didn't trust him because he had a license. We trusted him because he looked like the kind of guy who should have one. And what did he teach us? You don't need permission, you just need posture. Because if you walk in with confidence and a uniform, no one wants to be the first person to ask questions. This scammer wasn't just good at stealing money, he was so good the world named a scam after him. Textbooks, lectures, financial crime documentaries. This guy turned fraud into a legacy. Charles Ponzi, an Italian immigrant in the 1920s America, shows up with the pitch of a lifetime. "Give me $100. I'll give you back $150 in 2 months. Sounds like a dream. Or an ad you'd see at 2 a.m. that starts with limited time offer. He claimed he found a loophole in international postal coupons, some complex arbitrage strategy no one really understood. Didn't matter, because everyone heard the 2 words they did understand: get rich. Here's where it gets brilliant. The first few investors actually made money, not from real profits, but from the next round of investors. He used new money to pay off the old ones. People thought they were financial prodigies. They weren't. They were just early in line at a human ATM running on fantasy. Ponzi became a celebrity. Banks offered him partnerships. Papers called him a genius. One guy even wanted him to run for Treasury Secretary. All of Boston was throwing cash at him. And in his office? Nothing. No investments, no operations, just a desk and a very efficient system of robbing Peter to pay Paul. So what was his actual asset? Human greed and delayed disappointment. He'd say, "Just wait, your payout is coming." What people heard was, "I'm practically rich." And then, they weren't. By the end, he'd taken money from 40,000 people, pocketed over $15 million, then, boom. Collapse, arrest, jail. But that's not even the most insane part. Here's the real twist. He got into the dictionary. Ponzi scheme. Not a brand name, not a trademark, just the world collectively agreeing, this guy? Yeah. He is the scam. You ask what he really got away with. Sure, money, but more than that. He got applause, respect, headlines, and a permanent seat in Economics 101. Some people build technology. She built a world where no one dared admit they didn't understand it. Elizabeth Holmes, founder of Theranos, dropped out of Stanford at 22 in 2003, threw on a black turtleneck, lowered her voice to serious mode, and announced she'd created a revolutionary device. Just 1 drop of blood, and we can run hundreds of tests. It sounded like biotech. It was basically a juice press in a medical cosplay. Could the thing actually work? Don't ask, you're not supposed to ask. Asking means you don't get the vision. That was her genius. She wasn't conning doctors. She was targeting people who panic when a slide deck goes off script. She didn't pitch to scientists. She pitched to ex-secretaries of state, retired generals, media moguls, and Silicon Valley VCs, the kind of people who don't know what white blood cells do, but love saying things like, "We're changing the world." When the machine didn't work, no problem, she built the shell first. When engineers said, it's not accurate, she said, but it's disruptive. When test results were garbage, she secretly swapped in results from real machines and slapped her logo on it. She didn't run blood tests, she ran brand tests. This wasn't a product, it was a premium subscription to mutual denial. Everyone knew something was off. No one wanted to be the first one to ruin the fantasy. And somehow the fantasy scaled. Theranos hit a $9 billion valuation, raised over $700 million. She landed on the cover of Forbes, got called the next Steve Jobs, because she wore a turtleneck, spoke slowly, and made intense eye contact. Apparently, science credibility now comes with a dress code. She wasn't selling diagnostics. She was selling a world where engineers stay quiet, investors don't ask, journalists hold their breath, and the entire valley floats on one very expensive. But what if it works? She wasn't the next Jobs. She was the first to turn tech industry nihilism into $1 billion aesthetic. Think scammers are just some guy in a basement emailing fake invoices. Number Gilbert Chickley brought fraud into the Zoom era, with lighting, scripts, and full HD lies. Between 2015 and 2020, he scammed millions using video calls and deepfake technology. Here's the setup. He pretended to be the French Minister of Defense, not in an email, not with a voice modulator, in a live video call. He dialed into meetings with CEOs, priests, charity leaders. Calm voice, suit, government-style backdrop, and said, "There's a top-secret anti-terror mission. We need you to quietly wire some emergency funds." Sounds like a Netflix thriller. Nope, this actually happened. And people believed him. And he didn't just look the part. He used deepfake tech to create a moving, blinking, nodding fake minister. The background? Mahogany panels, national flags, a large, serious-looking book, 4K resolution, just enough government awkwardness to feel real. CEOs on the other end were like, "Wow, the minister's skin looks fantastic today." You'd think only gullible people fall for this stuff? Nope, the victims were elite. Bankers, diplomats, bishops, heads of foundations, all people you assume are too smart to be scammed. Turns out, they all shared one fatal trait. They were terrified of looking disrespectful to authority. Chickley didn't just fake identity. He exploited the performance anxiety of powerful people. He knew, if you act official enough, no one wants to be the first to say, "Hold on, is this guy real? Can you provide verification? Oh, are you questioning national security? How much did he get?" Try €10 million in one hit and over €50 million total. All remote. He was in Israel. The money? In France. The chaos? Global. So, what did he actually steal? Not just money. He stole that flicker of fear people get when power speaks with confidence. He didn't just scam them. He let them scam themselves, out of self-preservation. He didn't need to break into banks. He turned video calls into theatres, and the boardroom into a stage for one very expensive performance. You think massive scams need AI, crypto, or some flashy founder in a turtleneck? Manfred Schmeider proved you can defraud a nation with nothing but industrial machinery and a few coats of paint. This all happened in Germany, during the 1990s. No internet hype, just pure analog fraud. This guy ran Flowtex, a German company that sold horizontal drilling rigs. You know, the stuff that goes underground to install cables and pipes. Boring industry. Not when you turn it into the biggest fake hardware sale in European history. Here's the pitch. These are next-gen directional drilling systems. Each one costs hundreds of thousands. Perfect for infrastructure, and even better as collateral. Want to finance one? Bank said, absolutely. So he started selling them to banks, to leasing companies, to the government, thousands of machines. Tiny problem, most of them didn't exist. Some were built once, then repainted, renumbered, and sold again. Some were never built at all. One machine, 12 serial numbers, dozens of loans, a full skincare routine. He'd move them between warehouses, take photos from different angles, change the decals, and boom, a new unit ready for financing. He didn't manufacture equipment. He manufactured financial illusions with hydraulic arms. And he wasn't subtle. He built flashy demo halls, hosted politicians, won industrial awards, shook hands with chancellors. The press said, this is peak German innovation. And they were right. He innovated how to rob every line of credit in the country. It wasn't one bank, it was dozens. Flowtex pulled in over 4 billion Deutsche Marks. This wasn't fraud. This was a full-blown national performance. And when it all fell apart, not because someone got suspicious, but because people realised Germany had apparently financed more drilling rigs than the country had things to drill. Warehouses were half empty, machine counts didn't match paperwork. One region literally ran out of places to pretend to deliver to. He was arrested while the company was still winning awards. Government officials were still praising his contribution to innovation. And somewhere, probably, a fake rig was still getting leased. For the 5th time. 10 scammers, billions stolen, and not a single bullet fired. They didn't use violence, just belief, greed, and a good story. If that blew your mind, follow Julia's story time for more wild, true stories you won't see coming.